Hello?
Douglas, why aren't you online playing that game we're all into?
Because it hasn't arrived yet.
What? That doesn't sound like Mighty Ape. Their service is so good, I wish they'd service me.
I ordered it from these other guys, and it doesn't turn up until tomorrow.
We've talked about this, Douglas.
Could I come round and watch you guys play or something?
No.
Don't do what Douglas don't did. Shop online at Mighty Ape. Hello and welcome to Telefrag. In this episode, we despair at the current state of the first-person shooter genre.
I don't know. I weep for the future of gaming sometimes, I really do.
And we pretend to have a news segment.
Hello.
You have to feel sorry for Guerrilla Games. After years of hype, their release of Killzone 2, Sony's answer to Halo, failed to meet both critical and commercial expectations.
Killzone 2 was a game that was full of solid ideas, but that just lacked a little bit extra to make it into the success that people wanted it to be. You've got sales of just shy of 3 million, and that still manages to bum the media out. You've got to wonder what kind of pressure this game was under to succeed.
Enter Killzone 3. The short answer is yes. It is another solid title in the series. Unfortunately, it feels like a lesser game in almost every aspect. Kicking off after the events that ended the previous title, Killzone 3 expects you to remember who these wholly forgettable characters are.
Is that understood? Yes, sir! Sergeant Velasquez, are you too stupid to follow a direct order to shut the fuck up?
The flat characterizations deflate the emotional connection you have with the game, pulling back the curtain and reducing it to just an exercise in basic game mechanics.
The core of what made Killzone 2 good is still there. You move from cover to cover, mowing down squads of super Nazis, with Rico continuing to fulfill his role as an angry and useless space nurse. It isn't quite enough though.
Sid, take Velasquez and his mouth out of my face.
The main negative for 3 is that it doesn't do enough to make it feel like a game that needed to be made. I mean, sure, you can still have a lot of fun, but the game won't really surprise you. I mean, one of the main selling points of 3 is that it now has a snow level.
Aspects of the multiplayer have been altered to various degrees, with most changes creating differences but not improvements. Certain abilities are still shared across your entire team, rendering certain classes useless in public matches. A lack of options in game types and match creation is still the order of the day, and annoyingly, there are already map packs being released for Killzone 3. Hopefully they won't divide and kill off the multiplayer community as fast as they did with 2.
Across the title, minor changes have been made to make the game sort of more appealing to a wider audience, and what you're left with is a fairly good but less focused game than the earlier ones in the franchise.
Okay, so news this week. Monaco, large New Zealand distributor for Sega, Ubisoft, THQ and Disney, they've lost their gaming division.
Yeah, well, I heard they had a big dispute over debt with a large international retailer with a dominant position in the New Zealand market who shall not be named.
Yeah, it seems that Monaco tried to stand up to this company and tried to get money that was owed. And this is not unusual. We've heard from other distributors locally that have had the same experience with this unnamed company. And it seems that Monaco lost, and so THQ, Ubisoft, Sega and Disney dropped Monaco as a partner.
Well, I guess for most people it'll be business as usual, because I understand that THQ and Ubisoft already have new distributors locally.
That's correct. We've heard that they do, and there's enough stock lying around that, I mean, gamers aren't really going to notice the disruption at all. Okay, so another news this week, Kinect, 10 million units sold.
Yeah, well, apparently it's the fastest selling electronic whiz-bang ever, and it's the pace of it's outsold any Apple device.
Yeah, it's quite surprising considering there's bugger all games for it, and most of them aren't really all that good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because there's been a big open following of the Kinect, and universities in particular are releasing open source drivers for it and cool new projects with the device.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising from Microsoft that they've been that open with it.
Yeah. Well, it's a shift in the way they've done business in the past, and hopefully we'll see more indie games and inventive little projects coming out of that bit of hardware. Yeah.
Now, speaking of Microsoft too, we understand that they're tooling up for a new console.
Yeah, well, Microsoft have actually advertised on LinkedIn for some console hardware engineers.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected that the next generation would be well underway by now.
It's weird because this generation of consoles has seemed to last a lot longer than previous ones. It might just be that I'm getting old and decrepit, but it has seemed to last longer.
Yeah, you know, Sony have gone on record by stating that the PS3 is supposed to last 10 years.
But I guess with the 10-year lifespan, that doesn't necessarily indicate it'll be 10 years until the next generation of consoles come out. I mean, after all, the PS2 is still sold at the moment, so there is a bit of an overlap between this generation and the next generation in that lifespan.
Yeah, sure. And what really drives things forward, I think, with gaming is graphics technology. And that may have been a little bit stagnant over the last few years. But now we're sort of starting to see a bit of a resurgence with PC. So if people want top-end graphics and they want that experience, then they'll jump on the PC.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they're kind of going to have to. Epic have just released a trailer for Unreal Engine, they're calling it 3.95, I think, which looked stunning, but required 3 GTX 580s and SLI to run smoothly.
Yeah.
I don't think a console is going to manage that, at least not a current generation console is going to manage that anytime particularly soon.
No. And also this year we've got Battlefield 3, which is PC developed too.
I guess potentially, until we know what's happening with the next generation of consoles, we might even see a bit of a slide in the industry towards the PC again.
Yeah, it's possible. And like you say, the next generation consoles, we might not know anything about that until E3 in 2012, so that's probably over a year away.
We are living in a golden age. First-person shooters as far as the eye can see. Bland characters, repetitive plots, and redundant action. All so generic that you know exactly what your $100+ will be buying you.
You ignorant piece of shit!
Shut the fuck up! Answer me a question. These people. Have you had us killing innocent civilians?
Bulletstorm from EA is a title that has been pieced together from other games that the folks at People Can Fly and Epic have played.
Seriously, you look at this thing and it's supposed to be this fantastic game where you go out and you shoot people and it's got kill streaks and you've got skill shots and all the rest of it. And to be honest, I just don't care anymore.
You're an anti-hero who enjoys a good swear/murder. You need to get from point A to point B. But there's a problem with point B, and now it's on to point C.
We all want one thing. Off this rock. This place is far too treacherous for you to survive alone, sister.
It's got a story, it has a story. I don't even know what the story is. It's some dude who swears a lot has an argument with some leader of some other outfit who seems like a horrible bastard, and they shoot at each other in space and then they crash land on a planet, and then one of his people in his crew is really badly injured, so he then becomes a cyborg, and then he sort of like half good, half bad, half the time running around shooting crap set in the 26th century. Or honestly, it's about as generic and as awful as you're going to get.
The single thing that Bulletstorm has to make it unique, other than the violence... Oh, wait. Other than the voice acting...
Arm forward cannon.
Oh, wait.
Mom always said I was special.
Is that you get points for creatively killing your foes. Oh, wait. It has a unique setting. Oh, wait.
It's very difficult to get excited about titles like these when there's very little that separates it out from anything else that's ever come before. And the things that do separate it out are designed specifically to be shocking or gratuitous in some way or another. It's a cheap way to get people's attention, and not a particularly artistic way. And it's nice to think of video games as being a medium for artistic impression. I think they still are, but this game is really sort of starting to slide away from that. It's shocking for the sake of it, and underneath it all, it's still an incredibly average game. And that's all I can really say about Bulletstorm. It's just there's really not a lot else you can say with it.
In continued seriousness, it is the skill shot system that Bulletstorm uses to differentiate itself from the pack. Skill shots range from shooting your enemies in either the face or genitals, or impaling them on spikes or cacti. Points are accrued for these deeds, and you can spend said points on weapon upgrades or ammo. It's fun for a while, until the flashing lights and loud noises fail to entertain. Then Bulletstorm becomes nothing more than a well-made game that you should have rented.
I can sort of see how you could get interested in it if you were one of those people that are real leaderboard junkies and want to jump online and constantly beat all your mates, get really good score. I could see the whole point in it. But after the campaign, which is 5-6 hours long and kind of ends on a low note, there's nothing really all that exciting about it.
They could have pushed it closer to something tight and exciting, like Mirror's Edge or Tony Hawk 3, or a warm banana skid inside a cardboard tube. But no, the short and stilted action of Bulletstorm, which is tied together by pushing a button to climb over cleverly hidden loading screens and pointless, drawn-out on-rails shooting sections, left us feeling sad and empty.
As you can see, even thinking about it, your mind just goes blank. You're just trying to figure out something creative and interesting to say about a title like this, and when there's such a lack of creativity and innovation in the game itself. Sitting here and trying to wax lyrical about it is an awfully difficult prospect.
Final thoughts, either play it or don't. But I got someplace to be.